Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 187 of the Debt Free Dad podcast. Today, I am so excited to welcome Kim Schmidt to the podcast. Now, Kim invested in our debt freedom planner and soon after joined us in Roots of Personal Finance. And check this out, guys. In just 42 days from that initial purchase of that planner, she has already saved and paid off over $5,600 in total. And she is taking some massive action the last 5 to 6 weeks. And today she is joining me to share her journey so far and what changes she's been able to make to get these results. And really to hopefully encourage and motivate all of you and to show you that you can really make some great progress in a short period of time when you have the right tools, the right support, and the right accountability. Stay tuned, guys.
You're listening to the Debt Free Dad podcast with Brad Nelson. Brad and his co-hosts experience the anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck before learning the fundamentals of financial security. They are now on a mission to empower regular people to pay off their debt for good and enjoy happier, less stressful lives. Keep listening for inspirational interviews, tips, tricks, and practical advice to gain financial freedom.
Hey, how's everyone doing today? You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search Brad Nelson, Debt Free Dad. And as always, welcome to today's show. Remember to get all the resources, show notes, and links for today's show. You can head over to thedebtfreedadpodcast.com, click on episode 187. Again, that's thedebtfreedadpodcast.com, episode 187. Along with that, you'll find all of the other episodes that we have here at the Debt Free Dad podcast. So please go out and take a look at those. We are covering so many great topics, especially for those people who are living paycheck to paycheck, want to end financial stress, want to save more money, want to get out of debt. And again, guys, we are just normal people helping out other normal people and how to handle this money stuff differently. And one of those people here today is Kim Schmidt, and I'd love to welcome her again to the podcast. Now, Kim is 57 years old, and she was an ER nurse for 36 years. And this past year, she had some major health problems that affected her mobility, and she is now on disability. She has 2 grown children. Her son lives just a few blocks from her, and her daughter resides in South Carolina. And she says, I help take care of my grandchildren, who are my joys, which is really, really cool. And like many, though, Kim was doing okay until she went on disability and wasn't able to work and maintain her income. And once that happened, she says the stress started piling on. Kim, like I said, found our Debt Freedom Planner and eventually joined us in Roots. And again, guys, just in a short period of time, and why we wanted to bring her on, we've gotten some great feedback from you guys and trying to get new, members that are just getting started to kind of share what things that you guys can do to get started. And Kim is a great example of that. So Kim, welcome to the show. We're so excited that you're here.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going really well. Thank you.
Yeah, good. So I when you sent over your bio, I know you mentioned in there, and I didn't include it because I wanted you to share a little bit of your story, because I believe in your bio, you had said that, as you were growing up, your parents kind of taught you about money, or they handled money pretty well. And it sounded like you were handling money pretty well. So can you kind of give us a little bit of history up until 6 weeks ago? You found our planner and landed yourself in Roots, and now you're kicking butt here. But take us back before all that happened and kind of give us a little bit of a background as to kind of what brought you to where you are today.
Well, my parents were a great example. They still are. They are great with their money. And for a while I was, and then I started nursing, and you can make good money in nursing. And I was, and then I thought, well, I'm making such good money, I can buy a whole bunch of stuff. And I didn't budget as well. And when I was married, my husband at the time did not budget well at all. And we just kind of fell into, credit cards, we'll pay them off. And then once I was on my own, I was making good money as a nurse. I thought, I'll buy all this stuff. It looks really cute, or this might be cool to have in my house. And I would put most of my paycheck towards my credit card, but it would never pay it off. I had very minimal savings because I had a retirement plan. I didn't need any more savings. Then in November, I had problems walking, and I eventually got diagnosed with diabetic amylopathy. It's a very rare diabetic condition where I have trouble walking and I can't keep my balance and have trouble with my legs. So I had to go on disability, and that just stressed me out because I'm like, I have all this credit card debt. Plus, I don't know what my income is going to be.
Right.
I need to budget. And it was just like, I need to budget. I need to do something. And I was on Facebook and I saw this and I thought, you know what? This looks pretty cool. I can do this. And I got this home and started doing it. And it changed my world.
Yeah.
Just totally changed my world. It's like, okay, all right. I, at that point, knew how much I was going to get. Well, I got to knock out this debt because I only get so much. And like you have said in all the things that I've watched, once the money's gone, it's gone. Yeah. My credit cards that I had used up and my little emergency fund that I had until I started getting paid was gone. So the first 2 checks I got went to build up my emergency fund. And then I had one last check that I got from work for the disability at work, and I wiped out all but one credit card. And now my budget, I'm peaceful.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I have a plan. I know where all my money is going. I have put notes everywhere. Stop shopping on Amazon so much. Stop doing
right.
Don't shop when you're bored. I went on Facebook and sold almost $200 worth of stuff to declutter stuff that was just laying around that I never even used. And it kind of makes me feel ill now. All the stuff that I charged, I have, decluttered and given away. But the encouragement from the Roots community, knowing that everybody out there is going through the same thing. Every time I thought, oh, I can do this a little bit, I'd go on there and they'd be like, no, keep going. You're doing great. So I think it's very important and keep encouraging everybody else, because I couldn't do it without that too. And like I said, this planner and this way of budgeting changed everything for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk a little bit about the mindset thing. Cause you had mentioned, you were making a great income. And I think this is something a lot of us fall into and I did too, is like, we tell ourselves that, one day when I make more money, then I will take control of my finances and I'll have more money to save, more money to pay down debt. But the reality is most people, it doesn't happen like that, because we have lifestyle creep, right? Where what happens is you make more money and you just spend more money, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we work with high income earners, and that's why I find it always interesting. People who are making not terrible money, but they say, I would like to make more money, or I need to make more money to be successful. And it's like, well, but if you can't learn to manage the current money that you're making, what makes you think that you're gonna be able to manage more, right? So I love that you kind of brought that up, that you felt like you were making enough money, you could buy all these things. So was it just the disability portion? Was it the health, the medical things that really kind of caused that mindset shift for you? Or were you feeling that way already, like, man, I'm just not really making much progress here. I am making a lot of money, even before maybe all this, the diagnosis happened. Were you already kind of feeling some of that, like you needed to make some changes? Or was it truly that diagnosis and the fact that you had to go on disability that really pushed you that way, you think?
I was starting to notice, I had opened a couple more credit cards, and I can't even tell you why I did. And it's like, you know what? I spend all my money. I would work extra days to put more money on my credit cards to get them down. It's like, I am wasting $1,000, $1,500 a month just to put some money on these credit cards, and they're not paid off. And then I would do the same thing. And I'm like, something is going to change. And then, total life shift. It's like, okay, you got to change. You don't have a choice. You have to change. And once I did, I feel better. And I know that this is the right mindset. Yeah. And it's just a peace about it now. I don't worry about my money anymore.
Right. Which is a huge payoff in and of itself.
It is.
I mean,
it is.
It's an amazing place to be. And think about, would you ever imagine, just 5-6 weeks ago, that you would have been able to change that feeling that quickly, number one, and number two, saving and paying off $5,600 in 5 to 6 weeks is that's a huge swing.
Yeah. I went around my house and I got rid of everything, and I decluttered and I sold, and I thought I didn't go out window shopping, and I stayed home, and I read a lot. So thank God for the library and my Kindle.
Yeah.
How I passed my time, and I worked on my book. My book looks like a textbook with everything I have written down. Every dime I put towards that. And that was my goal, is to get this financial freedom, because you never know what's going to happen. So I need to have stuff ready.
Yeah.
And I can have that quick mindset because, you know, as an ER nurse, you do everything quickly. You make quick decisions and you stick by them and you know what's good. And this is good. This is just a good thing. And I want everybody to know and to be part of it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Now you're only in, I mean, I think I just saw actually a notification. I need to send you a video because congratulations, you completed module number 6, right? And actually, I think I saw you post on Facebook that you did in our group. So you're not even, you're 3/4 of the way through. So share.
Oh, I'd watch them all. Like,
yeah. Which is awesome. But share like what have been some aha moments or maybe just some like the light bulb kind of went off. Like this makes total sense. Like you've gone through these first 6 modules or so. Like share with people like what I guess what's different now compared to what it was before, you think?
Well, I didn't write anything down as my bills came in. I mean, my bills always got paid. I was never behind on anything. But now I know when they're coming. I know how much to budget. I know what's coming in and when. I know how much per week. It's written out. I mean, I use this calendar in the planner to write when stuff is due, when I pay it, how much I can spend that week. It's a discipline that I follow. And following the first 2 modules and learning how to use the planner, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see. I'm very visual. I can't do this stuff on my phone. I like to have the planner. So I have everything written out, when it gets paid, how much it's going to be, and, you know, what this bill is. Do I need to make more money the next month or put more towards it? Like the electric bill, like you never know how much that's going to be.
Right.
But just sitting down, every day I look at this and every day I do it. And every day I match it up with my account to see what's going on. And it's a discipline for me now. And I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And the using cash, the cash envelopes,
let's talk about that.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want you to talk about that. When you say I use cash my envelopes, so you tell me how we teach this in Roots. So share with our audience, like what are you doing? What categories are you using cash for, and why has that been such a game changer for you, think?
Groceries and my personal.
Yeah.
And it is true. You think more about spending cash than getting out that debit card. And on top of my debit card, I have my little my little white card before I spend it. But I think twice now. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's look at the groceries here. Let's try and find a coupon, or but it's a total new mind frame, keeping cash instead of using the card and having to put it in the budget. It's like, this is all I get when it's gone, you know, too bad, so sad.
Right.
But I love the envelopes. Love.
Now, were you using cash prior to this, or were you kind of relying more on your debit card?
Debit card for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
See, and that's what I love about what you've done. And a lot of people, and this is what I want, really, I think the big takeaway for our audience and your story, Kim, is just that you're willing to do things and try things different. You know, and I think that's where so many of us get stuck, is like we just get stuck in this rut, you know, and it's just hard to break free from that. And I think you have been posting, you have been taking action, you have been trying new things. I mean, you're using this planner. I mean, you're really getting outside your comfort zone, and here you are with all these great results. And there's really no secret to it. It's just that the stuff works, and you've just been willing to try it, you know? And
what I was doing was obviously not what needed to be done. And when I look back, I'm like, I wasted so much money. And I try not to look back on that because I can't change that, but I can change this. And this is working so well.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So excited.
I love that. So, I mean, talking about your results, would you have imagined that you'd make that kind of progress in just 5 to 6 weeks?
No. I would have thought, oh, okay. Oh, look, this is cute on Amazon. I could use a couple more books. And now it's like 24 hours. I wait 24 hours. If I'm meant to have it, if I still want it then, and 99% of the time I don't. And I'm not perfect at this. Yes, I have spent some money that wasn't budgeted, but I move stuff around. It's a work in progress, and I'm not perfect. And, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, 5 to 6 weeks. Yeah. You're, I mean, I would still say though, you've made a huge difference in dent and where you were just from starting, it's huge.
Get a lot of, my goal was to have my ER fund and to get these debts paid off. I have one credit card left, and I know I'll have it paid off by Christmas.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
good.
So talk a little bit. You mentioned your emergency fund. What is that? When you talk about you feel better, less stress, like how does that emergency fund play into this? I mean, what do you feel now that you have that built and that's behind you now?
Well, right after I became disabled, I hate saying that. Anyway, I was in a car accident and someone totaled my car.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I'm like,
oh, yikes.
Oh, no, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Because I'm not working.
Talk about when it rains, it pours, man.
Luckily, my father was selling his car, and I got his car with what they gave me for my car. But I had to, transfer the title, and that's expensive. So I had money to do that. I didn't have to dip into my budget. That fund covered me having a vehicle, and I was able to rebuild that back up. So knowing that life will throw things at you and life will throw things at you, whether you're ready or not. I feel better knowing that I have a cushion there if something else gets thrown at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Emergency fund is, it is. It is such a game changer for so many. You mentioned the Roots community and just the support and accountability.
They're wonderful.
It's pretty, I mean, I obviously me talking about it because, we created it, but there's so many people just like you who say that. There's just that community has made such a difference. So can you dig a little bit deeper on that? Like, what has that meant to you?
Everybody
these last
comments.
5 to 6 weeks?
I'll put something up and I'm gonna you go girl or that's wonderful and likes and it's like wow. And they understand. They're going through it. They get it. So I always want to make sure I give a you go and that's awesome to you because I know what it feels like for me when someone does that. I want to make sure to help somebody else in case they're having a rough day. I can't do this. You go. Yes, you can. Come on. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
Because you can. There are hard days, but you can do it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when you're working on something like finances, which is typically for most people a very kind of shameful or embarrassing type topic, it's somewhat taboo for a lot of people, and to be able to have some people in your corner just to be able to cheer you on and encourage you, I think it just makes such a huge difference. And we see that all the time here. And, obviously you've been very active in the group, but yeah, for support and accountability, I mean, it's just, there's nothing that really kind of replaces that.
No,
and it does. It makes just such a huge difference. So can you talk a little bit just from people who are out there, obviously, inflation's, hurting a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck right now. You had mentioned like you went around your house, you decluttered, you sold some things. Like when you started doing your budget, as we kind of taught inside Roots, what kinds of things and sacrifices or things did you cut out? Was there anything specifically that you found that you were drastically overspending on or just some major changes that maybe saved you some money?
Clothing. I did have to get some because of my health issues. I had to get some new clothes because I've lost a lot of weight. So I had to get that, but I cut it down. I really looked at how much groceries I need. I was able to cut that down. I don't eat out a lot. I don't just go out and go shopping. Most of the stuff was mostly stuff that I was spending that I didn't need.
Right.
Most of the stuff I have budgeted is things that I'll need in my life, like my car upkeep, that kind of stuff. But I live by myself. I don't need a whole lot. My children live on their own because they're older.
Right.
Decluttering stuff was just stuff that I didn't even realize I still had to get rid of. And it felt good to let somebody else. I mean, I've gone to Goodwill like 8 times already, besides what I've sold on Facebook. But feel lighter, less junk.
Yeah, it is amazing. We just did a whole episode on that, episode 184. We just got done actually when you joined Roots. We did a whole decluttering challenge in the month of July, and it was so successful for so many people. But you're so right. I mean, you tend to forget how much stuff you actually have sitting around your house. It almost becomes like you just don't see it anymore until you make yourself more aware of how much stuff you have. But great ways to save some money and stuff. Now you mentioned, let's talk a little bit about some upcoming goals. Like you said, your last credit card is hopefully going to be paid off by Christmas. What's kind of your ultimate goal here when it comes to your finances and what you're going to work on over here this next year?
I want to really build up my ER fund and just get that to a point where it can also start being into the retirement fund part. I mean, I'm not that close, but no spring chicken anymore either. So that's what I want to build up. I want to put most of my money into the savings. I want to never use debt again. I want to pay cash for everything. The other thing I did have a question of, now that I've closed these credit cards, do I close the accounts? Do I leave them open? I've read so many different things.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want that to be in my mind saying, oh, you have this credit card here and you could use this.
Yeah. And see, that's the hard part. This is a great question. We'll address it right now. So I think it's an individual choice based on the person's, like you were kind of hinting at, like their how much of a distraction and temptation is that open credit
Exactly.
card? And for me, I'll use myself as an example. I don't have a personal credit card in my life anymore because I was very similar to you, where I would pay it off or get very close to paying it off, but then all of a sudden someone would pop up, be like, "Oh, swiping it again," and I just couldn't break that habit, right? So for me, I had to cut out credit cards altogether. Now, and again, you hear so much information out there, articles, and I mean, you should keep your credit cards open for your credit score and all that. But what they don't address is the fact that, well, some people just aren't very good at behaving with them. And I, so and that's for me. So for me, I canceled them, got rid of them. I don't have a credit card. People will, balk at that and say, well, from a security standpoint, I want to have a credit card for booking travel. And, I mean, I understand the arguments out there about credit cards, but
you can do it with a debit card.
Yes, you can. You can do a lot of stuff with a debit card. And I've done all sorts of different things with a debit card, even a business debit card. Traveled to 20 cities, traveled internationally with a debit card, booked hotels, rental cars. I mean, I've done everything with debit cards that they supposedly say is much harder. It's really not. It's not really all that hard or much. It's about the same, actually. I don't really see much of a difference. But so, I mean, you're going to want to base it on your own individual behaviors, your distractions, your temptation level. The one thing I will say, and this is the downside to canceling the credit cards, is you will take a hit on your credit score. So this is where, if you're out there and you're sitting here, well, I kind of feel like Kim, I kind of feel like Brad, like I can't behave well with these. But at the same time, let's say you're trying to get approved for a mortgage here in the next 6 to 12 months or maybe the next couple of years. I would say don't cancel them and just do your best to like freeze your cards in a bucket of water, or put them in a safe, or do something with them, right? Where they're off of your devices, where you're not seeing them. Like, do your best to try to get those.
I took them all off.
Yeah,
I took them all off. The only thing I pay with is my debit card.
Right.
So,
and there's people who can. I mean, there's people who can correct their behaviors and use a credit card and pay it off every month, which I don't have any issue with. Like, if that's the way you want to manage your money, you're using a credit card, you're paying it off every month, and you're good at that, like, you keep doing that. You do you, right? But me, like, I could never do that. So to give that advice generally to everybody, it just doesn't work for everybody. So I think you just need to base that decision based on what you feel is going to be best in your financial interest. And just understand that with that comes consequences of maybe getting some dings on your credit score. That will happen.
We just did that module about credit score and how it really isn't that big of a huge deal. I mean, where I'm at right now, I'm not intending on doing any big purchases in the next 5 to 10 years.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The good news is you can take time to decide. And I think, you're in such just in 5 to 6 weeks, you're in such a different mindset, such a different place. I mean,
great.
You may find that over time, you can hold on to them and not be tempted by using them. It just kind of depends on where you're at. But yeah, I mean, as far as credit scores in general, yeah, here at Debt Free Dad, I mean, can they play a role in your financial life as it comes to, getting approved for mortgages and things like that? Yes, absolutely. And they can have some importance based on your financial goals, but are they the most important thing in your financial life, like people treat them to be? Absolutely not. Like, there are so many other things that we need to prioritize over that. And so many people would have less financial stress if they did that. We cover that all on this podcast. So if you're interested in more, just keep listening to our episodes.
I've been listening.
We do talk a lot about that. But Kim, my last question for you today, if you could share, like, you've now gone, you've bought our planner, you faced maybe being a little skeptical, maybe of, is Roots going to be right for me? Is this what I really need? Is this going to make a difference? And you joined, and now you're here taking action. You're making tremendous progress. Like, what would you say to someone who's on the fence? And maybe not just about Roots, but just really just getting started. Now that you've done this now for the last month and a half, and I mean, $5,600 saved and paid off in that time period, and just your mindset change. I mean, it's just huge. Like, what would you say to someone who hasn't gone through the steps that you have in these last month and a half? Like, what advice would you give them?
Jump off the fence. What is it going to cost you if you do it for a month? And you see, I think once you see what you can do and what it's going to do and how you can pay things off and how you can have peace of mind about money, which is the biggest worry ever, to decrease your anxiety. It's like, most people have tried many other things that failed. This one doesn't. This one has support. This one's easy. This one's life-changing. Jump. Just jump. You will not regret it. I promise you.
Yeah.
Will not.
Yeah, that's awesome, Kim. Well, I just want to say again, number one, huge thank you for coming on, spending some time with us and sharing. Like I said,
letting me.
It's been great. I think money is just an embarrassing topic for a lot of people. They're not willing to talk about it. So for you to have the courage to come on here and share, you said this is your first podcast episode. I'd say you did a pretty fantastic job, I will say. Thanks.
Very nervous.
You did awesome. It was awesome. But I also want to just say huge congratulations to you. It's awesome that you're taking action. It's exciting for me, and I've been doing this for years, but to see people like you come in and really just take advantage of everything we're doing here. And it's only benefiting you. And it's so awesome to see how much it's just changed and made an impact on you. It's why we do what we do. So it's just, it makes our job so much fun to see people like you being able to change their finances like you are. And that's just
this
so cool.
Has changed my life. And I don't know how to thank you enough for the support and for doing this. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you.
I appreciate that, Kim. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So the Totally Awesome Debt Freedom Planner is helping so many people make consistent progress with their finances. Whether that be building emergency funds, paying down bills, budgeting, tracking paydays, saving up for larger purchases, goal planning, and planning for those irregular yearly expenses that always seem to catch you by surprise. Now, the Debt Freedom Planner will help you take the stress out of managing your money. And if the thought is running through your mind, hey, I just need to have a simple tool to get my finances together, this planner is perfect for you. Head over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on the Debt Freedom Planner in the menu at the top of the page, and order your Debt Freedom Planner today.
Let's talk about debt, baby. Let's talk about your money. Let's talk about all the good things, all the bad things that may be. Let's talk about debt.
All right, as you guys know, that sound means it's time for the celebrations of the show. And as I said, I would like to just thank Kim for joining us again. Another just positive story and more proof, again, to all of our listeners out there that you can make some fantastic progress. And obviously, consistency and discipline are key, but just in a matter of, a little over 40 days, what Kim's been able to achieve. It's pretty remarkable. So, Kim, congratulations to you. Keep up the great work. We're kicking it off here with Beth Castle. Beth totally stuck to the budget this past week and saved $300 in her emergency fund. Beth, congratulations to you. That is incredible. Tara Mean, I paid off my daughter's braces 1 month early, which is a fantastic feeling. Tara, congratulations. Sarah Ann, I budget per paycheck bi-weekly, which is, by the way, one of the harder ways to budget is bi-weekly paychecks, getting paid every other week. And she says, I got this week's done early and already mostly done with the next budget as well. Sarah Ann, congratulations to you on just getting started with those budgets, continuing to do them, especially with those bi-weekly paychecks. They can be a little bit more challenging. So great job, Sarah. Lindsay Witt replenished my emergency fund to $1,000, and I paid off my smallest debt using the debt snowball. Lindsay, congratulations to you. Way to get started. Way to get that emergency fund built. And I'm sure that those wins feel fantastic. So congratulations to all you guys out there who are working your way out of debt. And if you're just getting started with our podcast, or maybe you've been listening for some time and you're interested in how you can get started on the road to financial freedom, go visit our website at balancedcents.com or debtfreedad.com and sign up for my free Life Without Payments workshop, where I'm going to show you the first steps that have helped tens of thousands of people just like you and I kick financial stress and worry for good. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to the Debt Free Dad podcast. Connect with us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Brad Nelson Debt Free Dad. If you found value in today's episode, please leave a rating and review. We so appreciate it. For resources, show notes, and links mentioned in today's show, visit balancedsense.com. That's balancedsense.com. Catch you next week.